I spend my days building AI systems for small business owners and also helping large corporations build their AI strategy. And between those two worlds, I get a pretty good understanding of where AI is and where it's heading. Today, I've got 6 predictions for where I think AI is heading. And it's probably not the stuff that everyone's saying. It's the things that I've observed and the patterns that I've seen from actually building these AI systems for real business owners. Here's what we're going to be covering today. The LLM scaling era is ending and what I think is going to replace it in the next few years. We're going to be talking about AI infrastructure and all the energy that's actually going to be needed to power this big AI wave. The industry's AI is going to transform that nobody expects. AI operating systems and how I think every small and medium business is going to be running on these in the near future. The entrepreneurship or the solo entrepreneur surge that I think is going to come in the next few years. And the most important one is that why I think businesses that don't start trying to adopt now are going to find it impossible to catch up in the future. Now, let's get into it. For many years, before the current AI phase that we're in with LLMs, with ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and all the other big model providers out there, we spent a lot of time in the research phase, researching different technologies, different architecture, different ways of making AI work in the real world to do something useful. We went from building the first Elisa chatbot in 1966, developing LSTM networks, which I won't go into the detail of in this video, until in 2017, we had a major breakthrough in the transformer architecture. In 2017, this is when Google released a paper called Attention is All You Need. And this is when they introduced the transformer architecture. And from here, everything changed. And in 2018, OpenAI released GPT-1 and Google released BERT, the first real LLMs to touch the world. And from that point in 2018 till late 2022 when ChatGPT released their first model to the public, this just went through a process of scaling these models bigger and bigger. They trained these models on more data, they added more parameters, and we're going with the logic that bigger equals better. And for a long time, and even till now, that has worked. We've been riding this transform wave, throwing more compute and getting better results. But we're hitting a ceiling. And there's 2 problems that are coming with this method. We don't have the hardware or the infrastructure to scale with this rate. And this does lead on to another point that I'll come on to in just a moment. But currently as we stand, the rate at which these models are scaling, we just don't have the infrastructure to provide the energy needed for them. And the second and more important point is that the results are diminishing. We're not getting the same leaps in capability like we were when we were scaling the first ChatGPT models from 2022. Back then, maybe we doubled the size of a model and saw a 50% increase in performance. Now, if we did the same thing, maybe we only see a 10 or 5% increase. So with that in mind, what I think is going to happen over the next few years is we're going to actually see a fundamental pivot back to research. We're going to put less focus on scaling itself and actually more focus into changing the architecture of this technology. And I think the next major breakthrough for AI is going to come from a new idea, not a new model. Now, this doesn't mean to say that you as a user at home can't use AI currently and that we're waiting for the next model to actually be the one that you can use to do something useful. That's not the case at all. LLMs are still really, really useful now. I just think the next phase of AI is going to involve a completely new architectural change in its technology. Now, moving on to our second point, which follows on nicely from our first, is that AI infrastructure is a massive opportunity in of itself. But even behind all of those GPUs, you need a huge amount of energy and cooling to run these chips. The energy demands of AI are growing fast and they're not slowing down. Nuclear energy has always been one of the most efficient and best ways to actually produce energy. But to produce big nuclear power plants requires years of construction, planning, and approval from the government. What I think is going to solve the problem for the AI energy crisis that we have is going to be a technology called small modular reactors. Now, what small modular reactors are, or SMRs for short, are small kind of plug and play modules or nuclear reactors that you can drop near data centers to fuel the energy that these AI chips need to run. And like I said, compared to big traditional nuclear plants which require years of planning and preparation, these are going to be small modular reactors that you can kind of just drop into your data centers to fuel all of the AI chips that sit in there. Now, I don't even think these are just going to be for AI chips. I think these small modular reactors are going to be really useful technologies that are going to power other industries as well. We currently don't have the economies of scale to produce these to make these efficient. But the demand from AI is so big that I think over the next few years, this technology is going to accelerate and it's going to be the main component that fuels our AI data centers. But nuclear does have a big hurdle to overcome. From events like Chernobyl to Fukushima, there's a lot of distrust around nuclear, even though it is one of the most safe and efficient ways to produce energy. So it has some problems and some negative sentiments to overcome, but I think over the next few years, it's going to break through that and it's going to be the major player in providing energy for our AI chips. And there are already companies that are building these SMRs with massive technology providers like Google and Meta to set these up around data centers around the world and the countries that are running these AI chips. Now, moving on to prediction 3, I think that AI is going to have a huge impact on industries that people least expect. When people think about AI transforming businesses, they think finance, they think software companies, tech companies. But I actually think some of the biggest transformation is going to happen in companies that don't really think AI even applies to them. It's going to be in businesses like trades, construction, hospitality, recruitment, farming, logistics. These industries that think AI doesn't apply to me, but in reality, I think it's actually going to have a massive impact on their industries. And I can see this firsthand actually building these solutions for these type of companies. For example, recently I built a quote automation for a construction company that took their process from taking hours to producing quotes to seconds. And the companies that are in these industries that do invest in AI early, I think are going to see a disproportionate advantage to their success compared to the competitors that don't invest in it. And the reason for this is because if you're one of those few companies that thinks, no, we can actually do something with AI here, you begin to invest, and after 2, 3, 4 years, you see some huge gains in your efficiency, your productivity, your time savings, compared to your competitor who said, AI isn't for me. By the time they go to catch up, they're already too far behind. So if you're in one of these industries, you don't need to be the best AI adopter in the world or adopt AI the fastest. You kind of just need to start. And by starting, you're already ahead of 95% of your competition. Now, this leads me nicely onto prediction 4, which is that I think that AI OSs or AI operating systems are going to be the backbone that every small and medium business runs on. I've been in the AI space for a few years and building my AI agency Anovio for the last year or so. And I've seen this firsthand. Businesses and agencies were building AI tools in isolation. A voice agent here, a workflow automation there, a chat agent here, and they were all disconnected from each other. And these are all still really valuable solutions. But I think the next phase that we're in over the next 2, 3, 4 years is having AI operating systems which links all of these workflows and agents together into one central hub. It holds the context of the business, the strategy, the data, the operations, all of the different agents that the business might have firing, and it holds them all in one place. So what does this actually mean for small businesses? Right now, small and medium-sized businesses are cobbling loads of different SaaS tools together, trying to connect them to match their operations. But I think in the next few years, AI operating systems are going to be that one central layer that connects all of this together. Now, moving on to prediction 5, and this is the entrepreneurship surge that I think we're going to see in the next few years. And I can speak from this firsthand as an entrepreneur myself, trying to build my own agency. And as an entrepreneur, when you're first starting out, there's a lot to do and no one to help you do it. You have to do the marketing, the sales, the operations, the outreach. Everything has to be done yourself because you don't have the money to outsource it. And all you have in your hands is time. And when you're first starting out as an entrepreneur trying to juggle all of these tasks together, it's really difficult to build any momentum. You feel like you're putting everything in and you're getting nothing out. But with AI, you can get up that hill faster. Things that would require the money or the time that you didn't have, you can now offload to AI to take care of those tasks or assist you in those tasks that you wouldn't have had any help with before. Whether that be the content, the research, the sales, the automations, AI has now found itself actually helping us with things that we just didn't have time or the money to do before. And once you get to the other side of that hill, when you've got a few clients and you're building some momentum, things become a lot easier. But just to get over to that first bit of difficulty when you're first starting a business, I think AI is going to help a lot of entrepreneurs out, getting over that hill that is really hard to get over when you're starting out. So my prediction is that the number of people that get up and try to start something for themselves is going to dramatically increase. Now, that doesn't mean everyone's going to take advantage of this AI era. A lot of people are still going to let this phase pass them and not let AI help them in actually building their dreams. But there will be those few that see that there's a massive opportunity here that they can actually use AI to accelerate to build a business that they've always dreamt of building. So I've got a bit of a contrary opinion compared to a lot of people that think AI is going to take, loads of people's jobs, which I think it still may take a few, not as many as people think. But my main prediction is that AI is actually going to start up a load of businesses that we wouldn't have had otherwise. Now, my 6th and final prediction is that people that adopt AI now are going to see an advantage that their competitors in a few years' time just aren't going to be able to catch up with. And I've seen this firsthand with actually building Anovio. The businesses that are implementing AI now are seeing huge advantages over their competitors that aren't. Unfortunately, adopting AI isn't just like buying software and switching it on. There's a lot to learn. Even with an AI agency holding your hand the whole way, you need to find what works, what doesn't, and what you're going to continue to invest in over the next coming years. It's such a new technology that there's a steep learning curve even inside your own business. learning how to govern it, how to integrate it, how to make sure it isn't just something that sits outside of your organization that your employees don't even use. There's a lot to learn. And that's my role as an agency owner, is to help those businesses make sure that learning curve is as short as possible. But inevitably, you're going to go through that learning curve. And the earlier you go through it, the more advantage you're going to have later on down the line. When your competitors in 3, 4, 5, 6 years' time are trying to catch up with you, they're just not going to be able to. They haven't got the momentum that you do. Imagine after 5 years of actually adopting AI, learning all the trials and tribulations that come with it, and you're in a place where you're successfully implementing AI and your competitor decides now is the right time for them to get involved. They have to go through that whole learning curve that you did 5 years ago now. And while they're still figuring out the basics, you're accelerating away from them. So I think a lot of businesses aren't actually going to be competitive in their markets in 10 years when they actually decide to adopt AI. I think it's going to be too little too late, and I think the businesses that act now are going to dominate the market in 5, 10 years time. The window to start is open and it's not going to stay around forever. Now those are my 6 predictions, so if there's anything that you agree or disagree with, drop something in the comments, I'd love to know. And if you found this video useful or helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button because it helps me out a bunch. If you're a business owner that's trying to figure out where to start with AI, I do offer free discovery calls, which will be linked in the description below. So go ahead there if you want to get started on your AI journey. If you're an agency owner, there aren't any resources available in this template today, but from all my other tutorials I do have a free school community, which will be also linked in the description below, which you can access all of the free templates that I have in there. But that's all from me for this video, so I'll catch you in the next one.